Get your buzz on. Sports Buzz is here to take all calls and answer all questions about your favorite team, coach, or player, local, regional, and national. Sports Buzz, taking calls and kicking game.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Sunday Sports Buzz, presented by livingforless.org, Louisville's original live TV sports talk show. We're here every Sunday night from 11 to 12, and we're taking your phone calls. 964-2121, 964-2121. That's the Oxmoor Ford Lincoln Buzz line. I'm your host, Greg Brom. Joining me tonight, the host of the Big Nasty Show, Mondays and Fridays on 1450. The Sports Buzz, it's Nathan Little. Nathan, your first time on the couch.
First time on the couch. It's a comfortable couch. I can say that much. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Well, you know what? We upgraded a few months ago, and it's been a lot better for all of us here. As we just kick back, and we're going to talk about sports. And I know everybody out there is getting over the Derby hangover today, and it's rough probably to stay up. But you got to stay up to see what Nathan has to say and to react yourselves by calling in about the Kentucky Derby. Orb wins the Kentucky Derby. Shug McGaughey gets his Derby victory. Nathan, you're a horse racing guy. That's one of your specialties. You were on the backside all week.
I certainly was.
What do you think about Orb's performance?
Well, I'll tell you what, it was very impressive. It was one of the horses that I used in my exotic wager. I saw him on the backside, had a chance to talk to Shug McGaughey, or Claude McGaughey, on the backside, and the way he came from on a wet track, from nowhere, in the clouds, and won easily. It was super impressive.
Yeah, it was impressive because he was the favorite leading up to race day. And first of all, you called him Clay. He's Shug. He's Shug. Actually, I didn't know if the horse should be Shug, and he could be Orb.
Yeah,
he actually could be.
Yeah, exactly.
Well. But Shug wins, and he was the favorite leading all the way up to race day. I think Revolutionary might have had a little bit more money on him, but he did what he was supposed to do.
He did what he was supposed to do. Revolutionary, because the track came up wet, they thought he might be the favorite, and he did dip actually at one point to be the favorite. But then Orb at post time did go off as the post time favorite. I don't remember what exactly it was. It was a short
6-1, I believe.
6-1, I believe is exactly what it was. And as you're seeing here, Joel Rosario can't get any hotter. He's the hottest jockey in the country. He pulls him outside. He's got a clear sailing, and he just presses the button and off he goes.
Now, one thing about the Derby, and I'm a layman, as I watch the race, it's when they start and they hit the first turn, I know who's not going to win every year. Cool. I take the first half of the horses on the screen, and I say none of those are going to win. Here, Rosario waits. When you really look when he makes the move, it's all the way into the third turn. I mean, he's halfway through it before he even starts to make the move.
They're coming around the far stretch. He kept the horse out of trouble, which is crucial in the Derby when you have 24 horses going to the post. And like you said, they come out of the gate. They go down that first stretch. It's just literally, no pun intended, a jockey for position, and they hit that first turn. And like you said, you can throw out the first 10 horses to hit that turn because they're not going to be there at the end, regardless of what the track.
And it was a blistering pace.
Oh, it was a blistering pace.
The weather as well, and Palace Malice just comes off.
Yep, Mike Smith and Palace Malice went out to a unheard of pace. I forget what the fractions were exactly, but they were going crazy. He even said after the race, they talked to him, we probably shouldn't have went that fast. But he said the horse was so live underneath him, there was nothing sometimes it's best to let them go and do their own thing and then come back to you. But he said it just didn't happen.
So I think that recently in quite a few of these derbies, I think we've seen the horse that won, other than when Calvin wins, kind of take that wide path. Is it just because the traffic is so much cleaner of a ride? Because it seems like there's not such a dive down to the rail where horses are banging up against each other that somebody can come wide now and win it.
Well, I was watching an interesting story. What they said, they do these arrows. They call them arrows, is when they rake the tracks, actually. And when they rake the tracks, there's actually two spots. One's on the rail. That gives you a little space that's actually padded down a little bit so you get better traction. And as you walk out into the track, it gets a little deeper. Whereas that third, fourth, and fifth pack, where you see most of the Derby winners run, it's packed down again and seems to give them better traction there as well.
Now, Orb's the favorite, wins the Derby. Shug gets his first Derby. You were able to talk to Shug actually on the backside. Tell us a little bit about him.
Well, I tell you, he's a very calm-natured cat. He's very, very, very cordial with his words, very cut and dry. I actually came around the corner. When I'm out there, there's media everywhere. So what I try to do is sort of, it's not sneak around necessarily, but I like to catch them where there's no one else around when I can talk to them one-on-one. Because it seems to be the best way to get an interview. And I walked up to him and I kind of just asked him how his horse was doing. And he couldn't have been any more courteous to me with the interview. And he's real soft-spoken. He's from Kentucky.
Kind of like your papaw.
Yeah, he's reminded me of my.
He's like everybody's papaw.
It's exactly. It's funny because that's exactly what I thought. And he granted me that nice interview, and he's from Kentucky.
Yeah, Lexington.
So I asked him, when their courses are coming out and they're going to be my old Kentucky home's going to play. I said, "You're going to get teary-eyed," and at first he said, "No, I hope not," and then he said, "I probably will though." Yeah. And it's just like he said, it's just like a grandpa.
You feel good for him. Oh. You do, and he did tear up a little bit just talking about it after the race. You could tell he was forcefully trying to keep very calm, even after he won. But it had to be just building up inside him.
Well, and the Phipps too. He does a lot of work for the Phipps, and they've been loyal to him, and he's been commending them all along to get a horse like that, to get him there, as he says. He didn't say we got there. He said the horse got us there. Which is, he's given all the accolades to the horse. And that's
very humble, very likable.
And very classy.
We're going to talk a little bit later in the show about the stars of this year's Derby, who had the best Derby, who maybe didn't have as good a Derby. I think Shug will probably make one of the best lists for sure. Now his horse, Orb, moves on to the Preakness. I think he thinks he's got a horse that can challenge for the Triple Crown. I'm going to make a prediction right here. Orb wins the Preakness, okay? And then he doesn't win the Belmont, because that's the way it happens over the last several horses to do it. It's just so tough to do nowadays. But I think he wins the Preakness.
I'm telling you, Greg, the way he looked, as professional as he looked, and the form that he's in coming into that race that he just won, the Derby, moving on to his pedigree suggests that he can get a shorter distance. There's no question about that. There'll be less horses in that race. I have no reason to believe he can't win the Preakness. His pedigree actually suggests that he'll love the 1 1/8 at Belmont, but if history repeats itself like it seems to every year, or every chance we've had at a Triple Crown, I hate to say this, but maybe an injury or something happens.
Ooh, it's so tough.
It's tough to do all three of them.
Last year, I'll have another got hurt the morning of the race, and it just took all the wind out of the sails of horse racing.
Yeah.
Really, until the next Derby.
Yeah.
And you know what? But I've been a proponent of this, and our other horse expert, Gary Dimley, he hasn't gone along with me yet on it, but I want to hear what you think. I actually think it's time to move the Preakness back a week. Not to give another week between the Derby and the Belmont. I think it was many years ago, there were 2 weeks between each of the 3 legs.
There was.
And then they moved the Belmont back a week. I think it's time to get a better shot of a horse being able to do all 3 is to move another week. Have another week. So make it 3 weeks to the Preakness, then another 3 to the Belmont. I think a horse having 3 races in 6 weeks, it might be just enough to put that horse over the hedge to get another one. What do you think?
Well, that's a legitimate point. There's 2 sides to that argument, though, because the Derby, the Triple Crown Trail is supposed to be the best of the best, the elite of the elite. And, there were horses that did it in the past, but like you said, it was a little bit longer time in between them.
Well, they did but there was a time when the Belmont was only 2 weeks from the Preakness, and they decided to move that. Why?
You mean just moving the Preakness back 1 week so that in turn moves? I would agree with that. It gives the horsemen another chance to sort of do their thing and get them ready. It's an interesting point you bring up, but I would be all for it.
Okay, well, let's see what you think. 964-2121, the Oxmoor Ford Lincoln Buzzline. Give us a call. What do you think about the Derby? What do you think about horse racing in general, which we'll talk about a little bit on our next segment? We're going to talk about the stars of the week and the ones that maybe didn't have a very good week. This is a Sunday Sports Buzz presented by livingforless.org.
Sports Buzz will return after these messages from our sponsors.
The Bluegrass Golf Tour Card. You get to play 8 great golf courses one time for one incredible price. A $450 value for only $149. That's less than $20 a round, and that includes the card. Get yours right now.
The landscape of sports radio has changed in a big way. 1450 The Sports Buzz has you covered with the best and most local and national programming in the Kentuckiana area. Mason and Myers in the morning, The Dan Patrick Show, The Afternoon Drive with Perrin Johnson and Trevor Kelsey, and Inside the Press Box with Nick Coffey, as well as the best high school coverage in the area. Get the best coverage in Kentucky and Southern Indiana with 1450 The Sports Buzz and 1450thesportsbuzz.com.
Smart shoppers, 'cause this is how you roll.
Get everything you need to make that old ride look new again at Smart Shoppers, the region's largest auto body supplier, providing you the full line of professional-grade materials at the best prices around. Paint like the pros with a full line of House of Color paint products, only at
Smart shoppers, 'cause this is how you roll.
Hey, Roz here. Night or day, 1-800-ASK-GARY is here for you 24/7. So if you've been in an auto accident, don't be scared and confused. Call 1-800-ASK-GARY now. Let 1-800-ASK-GARY help you. Remember, insurance companies got one goal: pay as little as possible. That's why you need someone working for you. 1-800-ASK-GARY, your auto accident helpline. Trusted by accident victims for more than 10 years. Knowledge is power.
The Bluegrass Golf Tour Card. You get to play 8 great golf courses one time for one incredible price. A $450 value for only $149. That's less than $20 a round, and that includes the card. Get yours right now.
All right, thanks for hanging with us. The Sunday Sports Buzz presented by livingforless.org. Greg Brom along with Nathan Little. He was on the backside this weekend. He hosts the Big Nasty Show on 1450 The Sports Buzz Monday and Fridays from 1 to 3. Horse racing is one of his things, and he has broken down the races this weekend, the Derby yesterday. We've been talking about it. We're going to talk about some other things as well. Orb wins. But I wanted to talk a little more broadly, Nathan, about the Derby week and the Derby race and who the winners were. Who do you think had the strongest Derby week performances?
I mean, aside from the obvious with Shug and the Phipps and Orb and the connections, I'll tell you who was an interesting story that a lot of people didn't realize. A local trainer, Dallas Stewart, who's a friend of mine. He's a great guy. He got a horse in the race at the last minute. He got Golden Soul in, which is also a local jockey, Robbie Alvarado. And those two got connected. They finished second in the Derby, and they just drew in, which is a crazy story, and it's unheard of for that to happen. So I wanted to just tip my hat to them.
Well, and I tell you what, I feel good for Robbie just because he had some struggles over the last several years, a couple personal struggles, and to come in second. I mean, good bounce back. Performance there.
And I've always liked Robbie. He's actually not a bad golfer. We've been out on the golf course before. He's a good guy. Dallas is a local trainer, and a lot of these guys will stick through the slimmer part of the season at Churchill Downs when there's not as much notoriety and such. And to get some credibility in a big race like that, I wanted to commend him. Normandy Invasion's another horse. Chad Brown, I talked to him on the backside. He actually... I was at my house. I was watching the replay on TV, and I watched. He actually made a move a little bit early. They say Javier Castellano made a move a little early, but at the top of the stretch, it looked like he was going to win the race before Orb came from the clouds. And that was his first entry ever in the Derby.
I tell you what, and on NBC, the NBC telecast, I thought he came across real well. He got a little play, and I thought he came across real well. I kind of wish he would run Normandy Invasion in one of the other Triple Crown races. He's holding the horse, apparently, to the Travers Stakes. Dallas is going to take Golden Soul to the Belmont, it looks like. But Chad, I think, was a winner.
Yeah, I think Chad, and again, he was another one I talked to on the backside, and he was a real cordial with me as well. I got to actually get behind the lines there and get back, and I was able to pet Normandy Invasion. That's one of the reasons. That's one of the reasons he was my horse. For lack of a better. Yeah. I used a bunch of them in the pick 4 sequence. But there's and then
enough reason as any.
And then do you want to talk about the ones that didn't do so well in the Derby?
Who do you have?
Well, there was a couple, like Pletcher. Pletcher as a whole, you got to think he's a little disappointed with his results. He had 5 Derby charges, 5 chances. Revolutionary with Calvin Burrell up, actually finished 3rd, and he scooted up the rail. And there was a glimmer for a minute until Orb hit his stride. When I looked and I thought, oh, here comes Calvin.
Yeah.
But then I thought, there's no one. Orb was just picking up, every stride was just picking up horses left and right, and it was like, there's no way. Unless he falls off, he's going to win the race. But Verrazano had to be a huge disappointment.
Yeah.
Our local connections with Ricky Pitino and Rap Racing, and Doug O'Neill and Goldison.
You had the same ones as me. Almost
Yeah.
exact same ones.
Yeah.
On the winner side, I thought Rosie Napravnik is a star.
Good point.
A huge winner. Milou
She's
came
adorable,
in 5th. She's a media star.
NBC
loves her.
Yeah.
I think Rosie was a star. I'd put you know what? Charlie Strong was a star. The Riders Up
that was
call
excellent.
has never been given with such gusto, and I think it's a new thing. In fact, I want to invite our viewers. If any of you want to come on right now, call us 964-2121. Give us your best Riders Up call. I guarantee you, it doesn't bump you up as well as Charlie. Charlie, those gimmicks usually aren't his thing.
That was great.
But he was he had it like a little lead-in memorized about it being the biggest day of the year. And then that Riders Up had to have the jockeys ready to go through the wall.
Yeah, well, and of course, you have the Pitino connections as well, and the whole mojo with Louisville and everything. So it was pretty incredible.
Louisville was a big winner too. U of L was a big winner. I even think Pitino, even though his horse didn't win, he was a winner.
Well, Siva got to do the Rose Garlands. He escorted them over to the paddock or the winner's circle. Like a little ceremony with that, and that was, Siva, he's a great guy too. He's a class act.
Great guy. I think D. Wayne actually is back a little bit from this one. With Oxbow. Stevens had a good race. So
Excellent
Stevens
point.
and D. Wayne with Oxbow, and then Will Take Charge was also a top 10 horse. And then I had Pletcher, Verrazano. Velasquez made the wrong pick on a horse when he picked Verrazano over Orb.
Yeah.
And I had Mike Smith and Palace Malice because I think Mike Smith kind of said he thought the blinkers had a lot to do with it, and maybe it did. But boy, the horse was done. I mean, that's like me running up the steps. I'm done. I got to take a seat. And I think the horse
you get a little winded.
had to do the same thing.
Yeah, well, he was interviewed after the race, and he said, it's my fault. Even though the horse was fighting him the whole time, he said he had so much horse underneath him, and Palace Malice wanted to go, which I saw him race out in the bluegrass. And he didn't do that. He actually took back and came from off the pace in the bluegrass to get up and then get beat by, of course, Java's War in that one, which was another disappointment. Kenny McPeek was another one I wanted to throw in.
Oh, yeah.
Kenny McPeek's a great friend of mine, and he both of his horses, neither one of them.
And you know what? It's My Lucky Day was supposed to be the mud horse, wasn't it?
He was one of the mud horses.
And didn't really do very well.
He was one of the mud horses. So traditionally, Malibu Moon is 50-50 on the mud. He's not particularly strong breeding for mud, but it certainly didn't affect Orb's performance.
Yeah. Okay. Now let's talk a little bit about just horse racing, because the sport of horse racing is huge here. The Derby is monstrous everywhere, really.
Absolutely.
But the whole sport really lives and is supported by these 5 weeks. From Derby till through the Belmont. Then you do have the Breeders' Cup that gives you a little splash of notoriety in October. But the Derby is bigger than the sport. It's bigger than the entire sport. I want to go with just improvements or things that you would think that the Derby does well. Churchill does well, Louisville does well, or just the Derby in general. What do they do great? Because they really do have it down really well. But what do they do really well, you think?
Well, Derby it's one of those things where, I don't want to take anything away from any of the people that organize this stuff, but Derby's kind of a can't miss situation. You're going to have 120 to 150,000 people there, regardless. We saw that yesterday. It was the 10th largest crowd, and it was miserable. The weather was miserable. You see girls running around there with their shoes in their hands, falling over, and the drunkenness is a debacle in itself. To watch it, that's worth the price of admission to watch some of that. But the guys, the people at Churchill Downs have done a lot of good things in terms of trying to get a younger demographic out to the races, which I think is hugely important.
I think
that's part of what. Yeah, and they're being successful. They're doing a lot of this night racing now, which I think is huge. The night racing they do during the summer, they're doing 4 or 5 night races on Saturday nights, and they have a different type of theme that they do, so you can come out and Last one was a Hollywood theme, so they had this big, elaborate red carpet. Took you back to the 60s and 70s.
The only thing I think about the night, and we're going to go to break, come back and pick this up. And I don't know if they've changed a little more. They need to have an 18 and over. It should be 18 and under, go to the infield. Or 21 and under, go to the infield.
That's an excellent point.
21 and up, you stay over here on the paddock.
You can play with the big boys.
You can play with the big boys. but have an area for the underage.
And the infants and kids and stuff.
Yeah, I don't know. That's just me being an old fogey.
No.
But we're going to come back, talk more about this. We're taking your calls, 964-2121, the Sunday Sports Buzz, presented by livingforless.org.
Sports Buzz will return after these messages from our sponsors.
The Bluegrass Golf Tour Card. You get to play 8 great golf courses one time for one incredible price. A $450 value for only $149. That's less than $20 a round, and that includes the card. Get yours right now.
The landscape of sports radio has changed in a big way. 1450 The Sports Buzz has you covered with the best and most local and national programming in the Kentuckiana area. Mason and Myers in the morning, The Dan Patrick Show, The Afternoon Drive with Perrin Johnson and Trevor Kelsey, and Inside the Press Box with Nick Coffey, as well as the best high school coverage in the area. Get the best coverage in Kentucky and Southern Indiana with 1450 The Sports Buzz
and 1450thesportsbuzz.com.
Smart shoppers, 'cause this is how you roll. You love your car, it's your best friend. There's one thing that you know. Before you drive around and in the city or town, you want to show her up, you know. Yeah, this is how you roll. That's what we're all about. Smart shoppers, 'cause this is how you roll.
Hi, Joe here from Joe's OK Bayou. Sometimes a person's first visit here can be a little challenging on Cajun pronunciation.
I want some estouffee with crawdads.
What Bubba's trying to say is crawfish etouffee, one of our most popular Cajun dishes.
And some Creole and Piscante.
Here, Bubba's going to try some Creole and chicken sauce piquante due to their healthy ingredients.
I don't know what the heck I just ate, but it was good.
Hey, here at Joe's, you don't have to be able to pronounce it to like it. Joe's OK by you.
It's okay by me.
Get all the secrets from your favorite local restaurants, Sundays at 4 and weeknights at 6. And see them all in high definition on Insight Channel 916. Secrets of Louisville chefs on location at your favorite local hotspots. And Secrets Live at Sullivan University's Kitchen Theater. Secrets of Bluegrass chefs takes you across the state. And Fridays at 6, take your taste buds on vacation with Tim Laird's Secrets of Resort Chefs. It's all local, all positive TV, now in HD, only on Ion 21. Watch Secrets Sundays at 4 and weeknights at 6.
The Bluegrass Golf Tour Card. You get to play 8 great golf courses one time for one incredible price. A $450 value for only $149. That's less than $20 a round, and that includes the card. Get yours right now.
All right, we're back. The Sunday Sports Bus presented by livingforless.org. It is post-Derby. That is like a whole different time of year. You have the lead up to Derby, and now the season has changed, and we're still reacting to it, though, as Orb wins. I'm with Nathan Little tonight talking about the Kentucky Derby. We've talked about the winners and losers from the week. We talked about Charlie Strong's Riders Up call. Riders Up!
That was pretty good.
Not bad?
That was pretty good.
It doesn't get me pumped like Charlie did.
It wasn't as good as his.
We want to hear from you. Give us a Riders Up call. Give it with the same energy that Charlie. I think he was a huge winner.
He was.
I mean,
That's
a huge winner from that.
Right.
That's going to be the cool thing to do now is Riders Up for the Derby.
Who gets to do it? You know, it's just like the national anthem.
Who ever wanted to do it before now?
Martina McBride sang the national anthem. That was a big thing, but until he did that, now it's no longer a big thing. Everybody wants to do it now. So.
Everybody want to do it. I think that'll be the hot thing. And speaking of singing, I have a little point we're going to talk about in a minute about the singing. That'll be part of what we like about the Derby, what they get really well Derby time, and what maybe they need to do a little bit better. We started off, you think Churchill does a great job with night racing. I agree.
Yeah, it's definitely an asset to them in general, and plus they make a bunch of coin. You know, they kill it every time they do a night race. and it brings all sorts of people out. It also does keep a lot of the youth, like you said, the younger kids. It kind of keeps a lot of that out of there, which I'm 100% agree with you on that. I think that there should be an infield area or something where they can take all these strollers and stuff like that.
I'm okay. It's more of the teenagers in the beer garden type deal.
Yeah, teenagers acting a fools. Yeah, so, but they do a lot of things this year. Of course, after the bombings this year, they changed a lot of the security constraints and stuff. You weren't allowed to take pretty much very, very little in this year. You couldn't take your own beer or anything like that. You couldn't take coolers. So that's part of good and bad. The good thing is that they had cheap coolers and ice that I think they did $5.
I thought that was a pretty good deal.
Yeah, and you could get as much ice as you wanted and the cooler, and then of course you had to buy their beer from the vendors there, which is I'm sure not the cheapest.
Well, you're supposed to have to do that anyway.
Yeah, you are supposed to. Yeah, you are supposed to. Yeah. But for years, the rules have been loosely interpreted, depending on who you are as far as the Derby is concerned. They did a nice thing this year, and they've kind of got it down now better than what they started to 2 or 3 years ago. They started doing the Papa John's Cardinal shuttle service, where everybody could park over at Papa John's. And a lot of people don't realize they shut down the streets around Derby those 2 days, getting close to, like about 9 o'clock in the morning, they shut down Central Avenue as it runs down there. But the one thing they have done well is they've sort of organized that shuttle service a little bit better. Although leaving, I saw people like cattle trying to get on the shuttle buses to get out of there, but getting in, it's definitely it's been an improvement.
Yeah, well, I tell you what, I agree with you. I think the access is great there, to be honest with you. It could be a nightmare, and it's not. Getting in
130,000 people.
I've got a nice, good secret parking spot. I don't want to tell anybody where it's at. That you can get in and out so fast, close.
That's awesome.
Everybody has their Derby parking spot, but we're not going to tell. I think the updates that Churchill has done to the facility are fantastic. The pavilion area where they knocked down that old jockey's room or building, and they put the big screen TV with the bar, the circular bar in the middle, and they had bands there. Mm-hmm. Huge hit, I think. Even some of the interior decorating, I think they have is just greater access and
if the weather's nice.
Yeah, if the weather. That's going to get and you know what else? I'm a fan, and you're a horse guy. That's fine. You might not be a fan. I like the point system.
Oh yeah,
I like the point system. I knew who the horses were leading up to Derby week because I was following the points. Mm-hmm. They did a great job. The Courier did a great job detailing it in the paper.
Well, and Darren Rogers and John Asher and Travers, they put that together. It's been a culmination of a couple years, and they finally got it. They still have to make a few tweaks, and they have the Illinois Derbies. Yeah, has been talked about that it's not included in that, and that's a big race. It's a $600,000 or $1 million race. It's somewhere in there, and that's not included. And some of the trainers had said that they should include the 2-year-old races from the year before as part of it.
Make it better.
There does needs to be some tweaks, but it is a much better system.
Well, I mean, it's going to be. I like it. It's like you're playing. You can follow them. It's like bracketology.
Exactly.
Who's on the bubble?
Exactly.
We got bubble horses now, and it's kind of a neat thing. The things I think maybe that could be done better. Now that you've had some rain and some bad weather, I think more covered areas, if they can get some temporary cover on some of these bigger areas, whether it's the paddock even. Could they not do a big, large covered area? Here you have all these people out for they're squeezed underneath the old parts of the stadium. The upper areas are fine. They're so elaborate and luxurious, and there's plenty of and even the clubhouse seats down there, you could get cover, I would think you could do that. I think in the infield, have they ever thought, they probably have thought of it, but having some type of elevated platform walk around, kind of like the terrace at Papa John Stadium.
That's an excellent point.
You can see the whole track.
That's an excellent point. They do have those sweet boxes that they assemble just for the Derby and Oaks. Those little boxes, looks like you could fit about 25 people in each one of them. Yeah. They're just down the stretch but there's nothing above that or around it where you could, like you said, you could elevate them enough that you could just have standing room only all the way around the track.
All the way around. I mean, of course, I'm thinking about regular people. I know they probably want to charge a little extra for it, or maybe a lot extra. Yeah. But if you were able to walk up and just like a circular type of path, because you go to a NASCAR race, everybody in the infield, nobody's standing on the ground. They're on their RVs to actually watch the race, and you could actually see a bunch of horses. Like you care in the infield.
That's not a bad idea. Yeah, most of the infield kids, by the time the Derby goes off,
we might be able to fall off the
they're more concerned about seeing things in the infield than the actual horses.
And I have one other thing. I think the television broadcast in general does a fantastic job. NBC covers it a little bit like the Olympics, even though this year I thought the 3 hours maybe was almost drug a bit. Even though they had great ratings.
Yeah.
But you know, and they do the feature stories that are good. I like all that stuff. I think they do a great job building it up. But the one thing I think has gotten lost in the shuffle a bit is My Old Kentucky Home. I almost would rather the Martina McBride singer sing that and not the anthem. Have somebody, remember when Happy Chandler used to sing, you're from Syracuse, you don't remember, Happy would sing My Old Kentucky Home at senior night at Kentucky.
Yeah, that's before.
I think My Old Kentucky Home might need a little juice to it. The television camera, it really didn't capture like the emotion in the crowd during the song. I think maybe they could jazz it up a bit with somebody really belting it out.
Yeah, they were real subtle about it this year. I did notice that. Because I even not from being around here, I can appreciate the tradition that comes from that and the emotions that come. You know, you look and you see some of the older people in the crowd that are singing along and they get a little teary-eyed. Yeah. And I even get a little, you know, just for the jockeys and the people that I know out there, you know, going to the track. But this year, it did seem like they were kind of, you know, they were a little loose about that.
I think we should add a little more juice to My Old Kentucky Home because that is the signature moment leading up to the Derby, and it should stand out, I believe, a little bit more. But those are our ideas. Give us your ideas, 964-2121. When we come back, we're talking Derby. We're also going to talk NBA playoffs, talk a little bit of college basketball. We got to talk college basketball. What is it? It's May 5th, of course. College basketball season.
It's recruiting time.
All right. The Sunday Sports Buzz, presented by livingforless.org.
Sports Buzz will return after these messages from our sponsors.
The Bluegrass Golf Tour Card. You get to play 8 great golf courses one time for one incredible price. A $450 value for only $149. That's less than $20 a round, and that includes the card. Get yours right now.
Little Bo Peep wanted a car for keeps. She looked all around and got turned down. Then she met the fine folks here at Jim Brown Auto Sales.
Don't let the wool be pulled over your eyes. Come see my daddy's flock of cars, trucks, vans, and SUVs with down payments as low as $99. Visit us today on the web at www.JimBrownAutoSales.com. Who's your daddy?
¿Quién es su papá? Cha cha.
Hi, Joe here from Joe's OK Bayou. Sometimes a person's first visit here can be a little challenging on Cajun pronunciation.
I want some estouffee, crawdads.
What Bubba's trying to say is crawfish etouffee, one of our most popular Cajun dishes.
And some Creole and Piscante.
Here, Bubba's going to try some Creole and chicken sauce piquante due to their healthy ingredients.
I don't know what the heck I just ate, but it was good.
Hey, here at Joe's, you don't have to be able to pronounce it like it. Joe's OK by you.
It's okay by me.
Hey, I'm Jenny Merriman from 21 Live, and I want you to check out our website, shop21live.com. Every area of life, we've got the best stuff from Kentuckiana. We bring it to you at the best possible prices. Your old favorites and new stuff popping up all the time. So before you make any of your plans or any of your purchases, check out our website, shop21live.com. And absolutely, if you want the best values on the best stuff around, check out our show. We're on Ion 21, Saturday mornings at 10 a.m.
The Bluegrass Golf Tour Card. You get to play 8 great golf courses one time for one incredible price. A $450 value for only $149. That's less than $20 a round, and that includes the card. Get yours right now.
Okay, we're here every Sunday night. Thanks for joining us. We know you're tired. We know you're dozing in and out. Hopefully we can keep you awake a little bit longer. The second half of our show here at the Sunday Sports Buzz, presented by livingforless.org. 964-2121. Greg Brom along with Nathan Little. We've talked horse racing, the Kentucky Derby. We want to hear from you on those subjects. now it's time to kind of turn to some other sports. And actually, the NBA around here, and you're from the New York area,
Pennsylvania,
right?
Is where
Pennsylvania. I tell you what, the NBA is not. I think it's followed, but it's not religiously followed here as much as it is other places, because college basketball is so big. But I think this is the time of year now where people start paying attention to the NBA.
It is
after the first weekend in May.
Well, it's been often said that they don't play until the playoff time. The real playing starts in the playoff season. I am one that abides by that same rule. I usually don't. I mean, they don't play as thorough a defense during the regular season, and it's just a numbers game. And then they
82 games is a lot.
The 82 games is a long season. That's people have talked about getting an NBA team around here, and it's like, well, I don't know that.
Even though I think that'd be a good thing.
Do you think that there would be enough of a interest to sustain that?
Because they play enough games. Yeah, basketball. I think if it was here, the reason it's not big here is because it's not here. If it was here, I think it could be supported. It'd be financially probably borderline, but it could be an Oklahoma City type deal.
Do you think that is largely because of the success of the local basketball teams that would make that be able to sustain?
Yeah. I mean, I think that there would be enough star power around the NBA to bring people downtown. I think there's enough dates that don't conflict. Okay?
That's
people talk about the conflict. Half the year's played, half the NBA season's played before December 1st and after April 1st. There were no U of L basketball games at home after March 8th.
True. Well, a lot of people argue the fact that there would be conflicts with.
I think it'd be less than people even think. So I think it would fly.
I'd love it.
I think it'd fly. If you
NBA.
got one Louisville player or Kentucky player on a team that was here, and why not go hire Cal to coach it? And it'd be huge.
Cal in the pros.
It's just me. I think it would last.
Do you think Cal would be a good coach in the pros?
It'd be good if he wasn't at Kentucky as a Louisville fan. It'd be good if he wasn't at Kentucky. And he was in the pros.
Yeah.
He'd probably be fine in the pros. He's been there once before. I'm sure he'd be fine. Let's send him there. But the NBA now, imagine LeBron coming to town. Oh, my goodness, in the heat.
Well, tickets they would escalate the tickets when the Heat's in town. That's what
I tell you. Well,
I was looking at that.
Could.
That's crazy. I was pricing tickets for the Pacers this year, and it was like whatever. Prices are based upon the matchup as who's in town, and I just thought it was. I mean, they just
Before we talk about the Heat a little bit here, let's get to Celtic Man because he's our NBA guy. Yeah. Celtic Man, you're up.
Hey, good listen to you, fellas. Man, Greg, this time of year, I love how you talk the way you do. I mean, the Pacers are playing the Knicks, dude. I mean, the girls are sitting out front having drinks in front of the plate. You can get in for $40 or $50 easy. I mean, this is going to be a great city. Look at all these small markets, Greg. Pacers,
Memphis,
Oklahoma City,
I'm with
Memphis, Spurs. I mean, what else? But let's just glorify it. And I think Carmelo's very good, Greg, but I think he's nervous. He's nervous after that loss today. So that's going to be a great series, pulling for the Pacers all the way. And then, of course, that Memphis-Oklahoma City game today. Memphis had that. I mean, they got three lefties in there at the same time, Greg.
Memphis is a bunch of dirty junkyard dogs in there fighting.
Randolph.
Isn't that the Randolph kid?
Yeah, Zach Randolph. I'm with you. I really think that the NBA had a really good first round as far as competitive series. It's kind of funny. They had 4 Game 6s on Friday night, and not a single one of them went to a Game 7.
Exactly. I just saw that today. That was crazy. There was some good basketball. There was some good basketball in those series too. OKC, I thought they were going to lose. But they had their backs against the wall, and then Durant just says, "Here, come on my shoulders, and I'll take you all the way to the promised land." Rebounds, assists, points, everything. He led the team in everything.
Well, I think the NBA now starts to own the sports landscape for about 2 months here, and the Heat are going to be the big story. The Heat swept their first series. What do you think? Is there any shot the Heat sweep all of their series through the playoffs? They just sweep them.
You mean
they won 27 in a row.
You mean just not lose a game?
Not lose a game in the playoffs. Do they have a shot?
I don't think that will happen. They do have a shot, of course. They're the best team in basketball, and LeBron James he wants to be unquestionably the best player that's ever laced him up. That's his goal. I think he's got a little chip on his shoulder about the whole Jordan-LeBron comparison. I don't know where you stand on that, but he wants to be unquestionably the best player.
It's not out of the question. He could. He's not. Jordan is another level above, and he will have to win 6. You got to win 6 titles to even get in the conversation. I think at this point. Now he has 4 MVPs, Nathan.
This year, unanimous in MVP.
Okay, I think Kareem has the most. I think Kareem had 7. He may have had 6 MVPs. I think it might have been 7. LeBron, I'm going to put over/under career MVP 6.5. Where are you going?
He's got 4 right now.
He's got 4 now. Over/under 6.5.
And how old is he?
He's 28 maybe.
Getting towards 30.
Yeah. 6.5.
I say I'll take the over.
You know what? I'm taking the over too.
I take the over just barely. I say 7, maybe 8 until it's all said and done. He's definitely he won it this year easily. Wasn't uncontested. Easy. And then he's going to win it probably next year.
Yeah. Okay. Over/under LeBron 6.5. Give us a call 964-2121. We'll be back in a moment. The Sunday Sports Buzz presented by livingforless.org.
Sports Buzz will return after these messages from our sponsors.
The Bluegrass Golf Tour Card. You get to play 8 great golf courses one time for one incredible price. A $450 value for only $149. That's less than $20 a round, and that includes the card. Get yours right now.
In a matter of seconds, a car accident can turn your world upside down. You've been seriously hurt. You can't work, and medical bills are pouring in. Call Aguiar Injury Lawyers right now. You can talk to a lawyer for free. Find out if you're entitled to money for your injuries. If you've been hurt in a car accident, get the money you need, the money you deserve. Call Aguiar Injury Lawyers, 888-8888.
I thought all cleaning services were the same until Molly made my carpets fresh, until Molly made my bathroom glow, until Molly made my kitchen shine. I thought all cleaning services were too expensive until Molly made my day. Now, meet the cleaning professionals that work as hard as you do. Call this number for your free in-home consultation and customized estimate. Wow, Molly Maid was here.
Little Bo Peep wanted a car for keeps. She looked all around and got turned down. Then she met the fine folks here at Jim Brown Auto Sales.
Don't let the wool be pulled over your eyes. Come see my daddy's flock of cars, trucks, vans, and SUVs with down payments as low as $99. Visit us today on the web at www.jimbrownautoSales.com. Who's your daddy?
¿Quién es su papá? Cha cha.
Attention sleep apnea patients. You could qualify to have your supplies regularly delivered right to your door at little or no cost to you. That's right, no more inconvenience, no worn out masks and straps, no more unsanitary equipment, just restful sleep. Don't delay. Call us now to see if you are eligible to save money on regular delivery of your CPAP and BiPAP supplies.
Call 1-800-667-1850. That's 1-800-667-1850. Or go to cpapsupplyhelpline.com.
The Bluegrass Golf Tour Card. You get to play 8 great golf courses one time for one incredible price. A $450 value for only $149. That's less than $20 a round, and that includes the card. Get yours right now.
All right, we hope you tune in during the week to 1450 for Nathan Little's show and Mason and Myers in the morning. I'm on twice a week with Rashawn and Jeff Mason, brought to you by Insura Max. Call Chad or Alan Hennessy at 479-4085 for all your home, life, and auto needs. Make sure you tune in 1450 The Sports Buzz. And Nathan Little joins me tonight on our show. Talking horse racing. Nathan, we talked a lot about the Derby. Give us some of the other, you watched all weekend, all the other races. Who had some of the better performances in some of the other races?
Well, there was a couple horses that everybody knows about this Wise Dan.
Yeah, Horse of the Year.
Horse of the Year. He ran in the Woodford Reserve, which is a $500,000 race. A lot of times it shapes up to be one of the best races of the year, but it gets sort of trumped by the Derby, of course, which is right after it. And it was supposed to be a match race between him and Point of Entry, but Point of Entry was another one of Shug McGahee's horses, which I thought was an interesting story because he had to scratch him out of the race because he was not 100%, so he scratched him out of the race. And that was also Phipps, and they also, they were upset about this, which I think the irony is he ends up winning the Derby. But Wise Dan showed his class in that race and won easy. It was basically a workout race for him, but I wanted to commend him and his owners. But the horse that kind of got really lost in the equation that day was a horse called Dulane, which is a Tom Amos and Maggie Moss horse, and Rosie Napravnik, which we talked about, was up on him. And he's a 6-year-old horse with Smoke Lacken, and he won like he was racing against claiming horses. It was that easy. That's a beautiful horse that I just wanted to kind of touch base with.
Yeah, we mentioned Todd Pletcher maybe had a down Derby day, but he did win the Oaks. I think he handles it well when he gets criticized or an issue is the media tries to pump up the issue that he's won for 30-some horses in the Derby, and he downplays that. He does have his one win. And I kind of like how he handles that. He did win the Oaks. Who's the top trainer in America right now? Who do you think's number one? Is it Todd Pletcher?
Well, I
know Dale Romans, I think, won the Eclipse Award.
He did win the Eclipse Award. He had a big year with Little Mike and Doulahan, and he won a lot of big races last year. Todd Pletcher gets a lot of good blood. He gets a lot of good horses and he has a lot of good owners. It's tough. It's kind of if you were to say. Is the manager of the Yankees a good manager, or is the manager of the Orioles, is Buck a better manager because he takes less talent and goes further? It's kind of that discussion with Todd Pletcher. But he's a lot more approachable than what people think. He has to keep his distance from the public to a certain extent. When I got a chance to talk to him, he couldn't have been any more cordial with me.
Now, Baffert's the star, but how is he to deal with individually?
Baffert's a good guy, too. Of course, Baffert had a heart attack a couple years ago. And before that, he was a little bit less approachable. And ever since then, if they say he's a real approachable guy. Now, he's West Coast. Pletcher's the East Coast. They do clash in the big races, but they're both real respectable guys. When they're walking around the backside, there's a buzz around them wherever they're at. Pletcher had 5 horses in the Derby. Baffert, unfortunately, had to scratch his Derby horses out.
It's less interesting without him in the Derby.
Either one of them.
I think you want all the horse racing, the stars are these personalities. You're looking at the biggest stars in horse racing. To me, D. Wayne is like the older. He's the guy. But I think Baffert, Pletcher, Calvin Burrell, Rosie Napravnik they're the 4 biggest. Gary Stevens.
Well, this Joel Rosario is hot.
Yeah, but the mainstream doesn't know him yet.
Yeah, they don't know him yet, but they're going to know him. They're going to know him, especially if he wins the Triple Crown this year. But he's a good kid too.
But I think those names last year to year. Those are the names right now in the horse racing game. Okay, we're going to take a break. Come back with our last segment, Sunday Sports Buzz, presented by LivingForLess.org.
Sports Buzz will return after these messages from our sponsors.
Hi, I'm Jim Weeks. At MaxCare, no project is too big. We have the capabilities to handle the smallest residential project to the largest commercial undertaking. We even clean big houses like this one. And everyone has been abuzz about our amazing 4 areas for $99 special. We want to let everyone know that MaxCare also cleans upholstery, ceramic tile, and air ducts. We also install and refinish hardwood floors dust-free. MaxCare, locally owned and family operated. Give us a call, 636-4629.
Keep your eye on 21 for the latest news and weather information from the local team that is working for you. Weekdays at 1 p.m., you can see Wave 3 News midday on Channel 21. Get the breaking news happening right now in our community and around the world, plus the most accurate forecast from Kentuckiana's favorite weather team. Catch the day's news and weather at a time that's right for you. Wave 3 News midday, weekdays at 1 p.m. One more reason to keep your eye on 21.
Are you behind on your mortgage payments? Could your house go into foreclosure? American Foreclosure Service can help save your home. We specialize in foreclosure assistance, and that's all we do. If you're behind on your mortgage payments, being threatened with foreclosure, have been denied a loan modification, or been the victim of a predatory loan, it's critical that you call American Foreclosure Service now. New laws are in effect that may save your home, so call American Foreclosure Service now.
All right, we hope you enjoy Sunday Sports Buzz. If you do, you'll probably enjoy 1450.
Your supplies regularly delivered right to your door at little or no cost to you. That's right, no more inconvenience, no worn-out masks and straps, no more unsanitary.
And little, inside the press box, Nick Coffey. We got the Cards and Cats covered, and we got Dan Patrick on the national landscape. The best sports talk in town, 1450 The Sports Buzz. And then the granddaddy of them all right here, the Sunday Sports Buzz. This is the mothership.
This is the mothership. This is
the Death Star, maybe.
It's the driver's seat. It's the driver's seat, man.
We make you a star. That seat's made Handsome Jimmy.
It feels comfortable.
Made Handsome Jimmy.
I tell you, I don't look nearly as good as Handsome Jimmy or as Rashawn did when he was in last. I'm telling you, those are some classy individuals.
Yeah, that guy, that Mason guy, I mean, he paled in comparison to the other two.
He did look classy. He had some strange...
Cheap imitation.
Yeah, well, those colors were kind of weird, too.
They don't come across well on TV. With Nathan Little, we're talking Derby, and we're going to talk a little bit post-Derby as well, Nathan. Post-Derby, you know, I'm the lay person in horse racing, okay? Mm-hmm. I follow the major sports usually around here, which are football and basketball, and I was a big baseball guy myself.
Sure.
I played it growing up. But once Derby's done, I think you do hit that lull in a sports landscape. What's the sport you look forward to between now and the start of football season?
Well, there's two. Both the NBA and NHL are both in the playoffs, which they both are on the same page with me in terms of that's when I watch them. I don't really watch it much earlier in the season. So you've got about another 3 weeks of both of those, I believe, give or take, something like that. I do like to watch both of those, and you can catch those games at night, different times of night, which makes it nice. But I'm a big baseball guy. So this is a time of year for me. I still follow the horse racing locally because that's part of what I do. Mm-hmm. I'm going to be doing my show out there from Churchill on Fridays from 1 to 3, which is going to be fun.
Oh, good. Do they still have the happy hour out there, by the way?
Yeah, it's 2:45 post time on Fridays, which is part of what they're trying to do to get the young crowd out there. And I tell you, there's lots of things to look at, regardless of whether you're married or not. Well, yeah,
exactly.
But I'm not a married man, so there's lots of things to look at. So, but it's really nice what they do out there. But that's a 2:45 post. So, but I do that through the summer. But this also gives me an opportunity to go out and watch the Louisville Cardinal baseball team, which is a top 10 baseball team. Yes. Garrett Wall takes good care of me out there. I get to go out and get some stories with those guys. That's a really good baseball team. They've stumbled a little bit the last couple of weeks here and there. They lost to Vanderbilt, which is was number one just 2 weeks ago. It may still be. I get to go out there and watch a few of those games.
Great experience out there.
It's
Love
a
the
beautiful
updates they
ballpark.
made.
Oh, it's a beautiful ballpark if you ever get a chance. Free.
Yes.
Everything is free. The food is dirt cheap. You can get $1 hot dogs on Sundays. It's a great thing they got going there. But it also gives me an opportunity to take my little once-a-week road trips up to Cincinnati, which is really nice.
I think that's one of the best ballparks. I haven't been to all of them, but that is one of the most fan-friendly ballparks in the country. It has to be.
And it's not really that bad of a drive. It's about an hour, a little bit over an hour, but it's, when coming
park
back.
on the Kentucky side, walk across the bridge.
That's the way to do it. You come over to the Hofbräu House across there, park for nothing, walk across the bridge, get a little exercise. We all need a little exercise. But that's.
I don't run across.
No, I don't
exercise.
At my age, you don't run hardly at all anymore. So, but I do like to take on some baseball. That's what I look forward to. And then the end of the summer and into the fall, I love the World Series time, football starting up.
I love it. We have a whole show committed at least once a year to our favorite month of the year in sports. Yeah. And I think October, my buddy Chip Cosby, who was a co-host here, thought November was better, but I love the baseball aspect of October with football, and then kind of basketball just get rolling a little bit.
Yeah, you have the speculation of football and who's going to be good, and I don't know if you're a fantasy player or you play fantasy sports.
I'm not.
You should be. You're a knowledgeable cat. You should be good.
I love the draft, and then I can't keep up with it.
Yeah. It takes a little dedication, but that's
I like drafting. That's the only thing I liked in fantasy sports.
The summer is mostly baseball.
Well, I tell you what, if I looked at me, because I'll follow the NBA, and things like that. But probably like golf, the major golf tournaments.
That's true.
I do like watching them. I'm not a very good player,
You
but
play?
I enjoy it. I don't play much.
No,
I mean, I wish I was better.
I like to play.
But I enjoy the drama of the big golf tournaments. I mean, to see what Tiger, the Tiger the situation.
It's always an ongoing story.
Yeah, and you know, Phil fell apart today.
He did fall apart, as a matter of fact, and then a couple no names, well, relatively no names. And I have them written down. I forgot what the guy's name, how do you even pronounce it, but he did get a chance to get in there and win. But you have the Players' Championship coming next week with the Stadium Green, which is always nice.
Oh,
that's a great tournament. But that's a good point, too. I watch a lot of golf in the summertime and support the guys. I'm actually going up to the Doral tournament up in Dublin, Ohio.
Okay.
I'm thinking about going up there. That's the end of May, so I'm looking forward to that. That'll be fun.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, what's your favorite sport? Give us a call here near the end of the show. Your favorite post-Derby sporting event before the football season gets kicked off again, and it's going to be a big one around here with new coaches at Western, at Kentucky, and then Charlie Strong riding high, buddy. I'll tell you what, riders up. I want him to say that right before the first game.
What about Jurich going to ride high?
Oh. I mean, U of L had a great week, by the way. U of L was spotlighted the entire week.
Great year.
Pegasus Parade. They probably will take a couple weeks. They take a break over there.
I'm telling you. So what's Peyton Siva do?
I tell you what, Peyton Siva, he'll get an opportunity in an NBA camp. I probably one of those. He's probably a Europe guy.
Europe, yeah, that's what I was thinking. Europe, or not, they play ball down in South America now too. Don't
wherever fits best. He's definitely that. He'll play for a while doing that.
Well, he's got good heart and he's a good leader. Got leadership skills. He
absolutely. It was an amazing run, and we're going to save it for another show because I'm a big Russ Smith guy. Okay, even though he's been he's your heart palpitates watching him over the years. But I will save this for next week because I was going to get our Kentucky fan viewership going because if you gave me a choice right now, and Kentucky had 6 of the Super 15 today in the paper.
I saw that.
6 recruits in the top 15 in the Courier-Journal Super 5. Andrew Wiggins not committed. If you gave me a choice right now, and I'm Louisville, okay, I could have Russ Smith or Andrew Wiggins for 1 year. They're both only going to be there 1 more year. I'm taking Russ Smith. That guy's, to me, he's proven. I know what I get there. And even though Wiggins is the number 1 guy, I'm taking for 1 year, I'm taking Russ Smith.
Does he move over and play point guard?
No.
He stays a shooting guard?
He'll cover. He did okay the only game he did not do okay at point guard when Siva was out was Notre Dame. And Rick didn't do him any favors that game in the 5 overtime.
He made a lot of bad decisions in that game.
Against Syracuse, he played at the Dome.
I don't want to talk about
your
that Syracuse
team.
Game.
Russ has done okay when he's been given backup point guard minutes, and I think that's what he gets is backup point guard minutes. Handles the ball more. Nobody finishes him.
We put a recruit in, one of the recruits in at point guard.
They have JC, Chris Jones.
Yeah.
Kevin Ware, get him back healthy. If not, Luke can be the point forward, run it from that position.
That's interesting.
But I don't think Russ. Russ is not a full-time point guard for our team.
I don't think so either.
NBA, when you can go more up free flowing, he might have. He's great defensively.
He might fit in well as point guard in the NBA. You could be right.
All right. Thanks for Nathan. Thank you.
My pleasure.
We'll see you next week, 11 o'clock Sunday night. The Sunday Sports Bus presented by livingforless.org.